Here we go. We're going to talk about genetics today. I am really excited to dive into this a little bit and just really share a lot more information. This is something that is, I want to say, such a common thing that women struggle with, and understanding is this where I'm going wrong? Is this why this keeps happening again and again and again? And when we talk about your genetics and everything else, the one thing that I want you to kind of keep in mind, just tuck it away in the back of your head, and reference it when you need to, is that just because you have a genetic disposition for something doesn't mean you are doomed. Doesn't mean it's the end of all of it, or like, oh, what's the use? This is how it is for me, blah, blah, blah. There are some phrases that I will share in terms of genetics, in terms of how this sort of manifests for you, right? I have something wrong with my eyelash. I'm gonna, ow, ow. Oh, I just yanked this. That's not part of the video. Sorry. I'm getting my lashes done tomorrow. My lash gal, I'm terrible on my lashes, and she does such a good job with them. Okay, because I do stuff like that. If she's watching this, she's gonna be like, stop doing that with your lashes. I know, I'm sorry. Okay. But when we talk about genetics and talk about how this kind of works in the system, some of my favorite phrases around this are: genetics loads the gun, and your environment or stress pulls the trigger. So this doesn't mean that you're doomed. This doesn't mean, and I'll show you an actual, just knocked it over, an actual example of a genetic report and talk about this. But this doesn't mean that you're doomed and all these other things. Some of my other favorite phrases here with this are: genetics loads the gun, methylation turns off the safety, and your environment or stress pulls the trigger. Yes. So how important are genetics? Does it matter? It does. It does matter. Now, again, when we talk about your environment or stress pulling the trigger, you can have made specific lifestyle choices early on in life that you've applied for 3 decades that then, you know, your body has integrated as part. You can like outsmart this, or, you know, these are the cards you're dealt. It's how we play this hand. You know, we can work around this. One of the things that popped up on my genetic report, for example, was that I genetically do not build muscle or have a lot of power naturally. Now, I have been weightlifting in a gym since I was 13 years old. I'm 41 now, so I have a lot of years of weightlifting that my body is able to. So is that a lived experience for me? Not necessarily, no. Because I have been doing weight training my whole life. That's how you can get around it. So sometimes if you're looking at this and thinking, geez, I didn't know this, I wasn't aware of this. Another example is that genetically you may be predisposed to having really low vitamin D levels, or vitamin B12, or methylation issues, which we're going to talk about here. This may be that, yeah, you didn't know this for the first 30 years of your life. For example, somebody who realizes that, you know, in their 30s, they are having trouble with fertility, and they are told they have MTHFR. It's all capitals. And it's a problem with methylation, and oftentimes you will have low B12 levels. If you didn't know that for the first 30 years, there's no way that you would have been shifting or changing your supplements or nutrition to allow for proper B12 levels. Okay, but that's where knowing it now, making those changes moving forward, you can make a big difference. So that's what I want to say. It's not, you're not doomed per se, but it is important to recognize and realize where these things come into play and how you can take advantage of certain things with your genetics to help with your, you know, weight loss goals, weight maintenance, and hormones. Because that's another thing too. Women, I will hear all the time, I did this thing and I lost weight, but I couldn't keep it off because this and this and this. Why is that? We'll go through and talk about it. So a few things that I'll show you pictures of this, because I love this. When we talk about your genetics overall, methylation is a big part of this. So the test that I use and I absolutely love is called 3x4 genetics, 3x4 genetics, and they give you a full health profile. Full health profile on, so like, it is an immense amount of information. I printed this sample one out to show you guys. But I've done podcasts too. My podcast is the Female Health Solution, where I talk about genetic testing and some of my results as well, just to share so you can understand like why this is so helpful, right? But see, looking at like, oh, high impact, oh, look at that, vitamin B12, vitamin D, folate, this person has an issue with methylation. So then looking at this, it literally gives you your methylation levels, your inflammation, oxidative stress, and your body's ability to detox on its own. Really, really helpful. So this means that if your body can't methylate, it can't process things correctly. This plays a role in nutrient absorption, cellular function. It plays a role in detoxification, everything else. So if your body's not methylating, it's really tough to get to and keep a good result. Yeah. How do I get my body to methylate? Great question. Getting enough B vitamins in, making sure you're getting enough nutrient overall, and making sure you're managing your stress levels. There's a whole other video I can do. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a whole video on methylation specifically, because that is a very specific thing, right? It's changing some lifestyle things and everything as well. But there is that. Detoxification. How your body detoxes naturally. And there are some people who are like, you don't need a detox. Yeah, the body detoxes. You know, it does for some people, and good for them. Good for them that their body detoxes on its own just fine. Super duper. If you happen to be a person that your body just does not detox naturally, you need to have detox aids or help or binders to help your system do that, to help it complete those processes. It is really easy to get excess estrogen built up in your system to create other hormone issues because you're not detoxifying. Also, if you're not detoxifying naturally, then as a response, oftentimes what the body does is it's like, oh, it's not detoxing. Let's store more fat. That's protective. Let's do that. That's a good idea. But can we not? No. And we find out by looking at your specific genetic test. Yes, that's why I like this test, because it does go through, in case you're wondering, like, oh, does it show all the things? I had somebody send me, like, all of these things, right? All of these things. She was like, look at all these things. She sent me a list of all her genetic tests that was like this. And I literally went through as much as it is possible. And I was like, listen, this is okay. But with this test, this is why I love 3x4, is because they take all of that and then they put it in these categories that we get to talk about easily and go through it. So there is an impact with inflammation and other things like that as well. That does play a role, but those are some of the main things there. It also does test for, there's other factors here: mood and behavior, histamine overload, overall hormone balance, how well your body's going to do that, cardiovascular health, everything else. There are those genetic markers. It does too. But I'm just talking about weight and hormones. Again, leave me a comment if you're like, yes, I want to know more about, the cardiovascular health thing. Absolutely. I can do a video on that. Yeah. Yes. Susan. Hi. MTHFR. Yes. Right. Yeah. Huge. I'm yelling. I'm sorry. Huge deal. Yes. Oh, in case you're not, I'm Dr. Beth Westie, women's health and hormone expert, and author of the books, The Female Fat Solution, The Female Menopause Solution. Yes. Those are on Amazon. So, and I already gave you my podcast. My YouTube is called Dr. Beth Westie, in case you're like, yes, I want to know more information. I do have more there. So there is that. Okay. Next thing that we're going to talk about here is this another piece of this. And these are things that, again, as we work together, so I'm going to put a link in the comments for the female hormone solution program that I have. If you're like, yes, I want to learn more about this, or I want to get this testing, I want to work with you, get on that wait list there. You can learn a ton more information, but you can also reach out to me via email as well, because I'd be more than happy to answer any questions I can by email. Susan, you're so funny. Aw, I love you too, Susan. Okay. So energy overview is another thing that we check for with genetics. Now, why would this matter, your overall energy levels? Does this matter for fat burning and everything else? Actually, yes. You can be genetically predisposed to have an easier or harder time with this. Again, take this with that grain of salt of genetics loads the gun, methylation turns off the safety, and your environment or stress can pull the trigger. So if you are somebody that has adipogenesis marked as a high indicator on your genetic test, and you've done a lot of crash diets, your body is going to be really good at storing things in fat cells and like cementing it in place. How do I know that? Genetic testing. See, look at this. I love this page. I love this page because it's such a good description of going over what's happening genetically in your system. Appetite, satiety, intake, so your overall appetite, there's genetic factors that play a role in how hungry you get and how easy your blood sugars are balanced. That there is a genetic factor to that. Pro-inflammatory fat, that is another factor on here. Does having more adipose tissue in your body create more inflammation? Does that make it harder for you to lose weight? Yeah, these are big categories to look at. If you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this was a thing, start deep diving into some of this stuff because it really makes a difference. Adipogenesis, this is how your body stores fat and then releases the energy from those fat cells. There is a genetic component to this. Again, recommendations to help with this are like eating, a well-balanced diet, certain movements, things like that. But this doesn't mean doing high-intensity workouts always means that you're going to burn fat. We will talk about that here. There is a certain energy expenditure, that you are, more prone to genetically. That would be more of like your resting metabolic rate. How much does your body burn at rest? You ever see people and they're just like slim and like everybody in their family is slim and they're not really active, but they go for walks a little bit every day, yet and that's how they like tone up. And I'm like, how do they do that? Genetics, right? Same thing with exercise response. How well does your body burn fat when you exercise? There is a genetic component to this. There's a lot of things that go into this. And the reason I wanted to talk about this right now is because there's a lot of people who are told, and it's not wrong. You know what I mean? It's not wrong to say, when you exercise, you will burn fat. Maybe. I mean, that's the goal, right? Or a lot of women out there are exercising, trying to lose weight, trying to burn fat, right? Exercise does a lot of really healthy things for your body, improves your overall health, cardiovascular, blood flow, all these things. Great. Yes. Movement, mobility, flexibility. Yes. Take care of your meat suit that you live in. But if you are somebody who's working out and you're tracking how many calories you're burning to make sure you're in a calorie deficit and all those things, but genetically you're not burning as much, that makes a big difference. Right? That makes a big difference overall. So this isn't something that you can just outrun. And yes, there are certain fitness levels. Like you've heard the thing of like, when you go to the gym, don't just get on the Stairmaster and do the same workout every day because your body acclimates to it and you don't burn. Yes. But this is also then tenfold. That you really have to shift your workouts, shift how you're, physically moving your body to make sure that you are taking advantage of that as much as possible. Sometimes it's frustrating. And then they overall do a measurement here of weight gain and weight loss resistance. How easy or hard is it for you to gain or lose weight? That's why I love this test, because they very, very clearly lay everything out here for you. So sometimes this is a really helpful tool as you are on your health journey. I have done genetic testing on males and females. And every time I go over it and we talk about it, they'll be like, yeah, I looked at it as soon as I got it and this was amazing. And oh my gosh, this has matched my lived experience so much that I go to a gym and I start a program and I feel good. I feel really good working out, but I don't really see any physical results and I'm getting stronger and da-da-da-da, but I don't lose fat. They don't have a good exercise response. So that's okay. This isn't like doom and gloom here of like, well, that just is terrible. It just means that your system would need a different focus. And sometimes some of the most helpful information that I can give from a genetic report is giving you an appropriate timeline for your body, giving you an appropriate feedback system. Not expecting certain changes like that, or not expecting your body to react like somebody else's would. And again, if your body's under stress or if you've been nutrient depleted or other things like that, it matters. It makes a difference. So that is why I love genetic testing. That is why I love talking about this and going through this and really just helping everyone learn more. These are tools. Do you have to get testing all the time? No. But if you are trying all these things, right? as we only have so much energy throughout the day. We only have so much mental energy throughout the day, every day. So if you are like beating your head against a wall, thinking, I'm doing this thing, I'm eating healthy, I'm working out, why am I not getting this? 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 for me. Ooh! These tools can help answer so many questions and give you a completely different direction. The last genetic test that I went over, this was her response. Like, her exercise response was really low. And she was really bummed. I was like, she's like, well, I really love working out. And I was like, well, then still work out. But you can stop having the expectation that your body is magically going to transform from doing this other workout or this type of thing. Your purpose then for working out will be to enjoy the workout. And she was like, oh my gosh, I actually love that. She's like, this is actually really freeing, that I will be able to do a workout and enjoy the workout and not just worry about how many calories I'm burning or whatever. It will be more fun for me. It will be, yes. And I was like, for looking for, you know, fat storage and everything else, we have to use different nutrition tactics. That's where it will come from. Not as much from the exercise. So it's so helpful to learn more about you, your own bio-individuality, and be able to make a plan moving forward for that. So that's what I do. This is what I do. I talk about, oh, I have this here, Dutch testing, doing hormone testing. This is included in the 6-month program. But there are some people who they're like, I want to know what my genetics are. I want to know all the information. Great. That gives you more information so you can make the best decisions for your health and the next steps for you moving forward. So that's what I got for you today. Please let me know if you have any other questions or need any other information. Otherwise, I will see you later and have a great rest of your day.